Sarah Warbelow is our guest, legal director for the Human Rights Campaign. What does this new law do?
It allows for-profit business owners to refuse service to LGBT people. And the way it's written, not only would it cover wedding-related services, like selling a wedding cake or flowers to someone on their wedding, but it would also allow a restaurant to refuse to allow a couple to celebrate their anniversary or celebrate a baby shower because it's related to that business's view of an appropriate marriage. Well, we're talking about for-profit businesses here. Businesses that have opened up themselves into the stream of public commerce. We expect business owners to serve all customers on an equal basis. If you're going to provide services for some, you provide services for anyone who can pay.
Let's go to the phones. We have callers who have questions or views on this. Kenneth in Janesville is with us. Hello, Kenneth.
Yes, the strongest pillar of our democracy going way back to Jamestown and Plymouth Rock is to be allowed to practice our religion, and usually those religions say not to cooperate with evil, as your guest has said, and we should be allowed, not to cooperate with evil.
In the late 1960s, the Supreme Court heard a case called Piggy Park. And in that case, a man who owned a barbecue restaurant wanted to refuse to serve African Americans because he sincerely believed that there should not be mixing of the races based on what at the time was interpretation of the Bible by many. And the Supreme Court said, no, that our laws that prohibit discrimination can trump the First Amendment in these circumstances in which you're causing harm to other people. So we really can find that balance between respecting religious liberties but making sure that everyone has the ability to live a full life in our society.
Well, speaking of which, Steve in Sun Prairie is with us now. Hello, Steve.
How can she not see the hypocritical stance of Bryan Adams and Bruce Springsteen being able to use their conscience to decide not to provide services, but a poor baker cannot have that same right? Why do you have a war or a hatred for religion?
What these celebrities are doing is calling attention to a particular problem. And if a baker wanted to pull out of providing services to everyone on an equal basis, we certainly wouldn't object to them doing so.
So you don't think it's hypocritical that Bruce Springsteen's going to deny services based on his beliefs?
What he's doing is using his voice to speak out against a particular law. And those bakers have the absolute same right to speak out against laws that they disagree with and to pack up shop if that's what they want to do.
I saw in the news this morning that at least in North Carolina, the governor was doing some tweaking with executive order and wanting to change the law somewhat there, the bathroom law.
Well, certainly Governor McCrory of North Carolina is trying to take some of the heat off of himself. But the truth is the executive order really didn't do anything. A governor does not have the power individually to be able to undo what is now state law. Generally that's a good thing, right? We don't want governors to have so much power that they can unilaterally make or change laws for the state. In this situation, certainly it would be great if, by a sweep of his hand, he could make this all go away. But when he had that opportunity, he chose to sign the law rather than veto it. So we may see similar actions out of Mississippi, but just like North Carolina, it's going to really change anything.
So let's go back to the phones. We have Jerry in Argyle with us next. Hi, Jerry.
I'm a little puzzled by the militancy of people wanting to create problems with businesses. I mean, if I know a particular business doesn't want to do business with me and doesn't want my money, they don't want to make a profit off of me, I don't want to do business with them. I'm not going to go and force them to do business with me so that I can, and have a lawsuit to make them do business with me. I'll find somebody that wants to do business with me, would be glad to do business with me.
What about that, Sarah?
I think that nobody's looking for a fight. It's not that LGBT people are going out of their way to find businesses who don't want to serve them, any more than Christians are going out of their way to find business owners who are of other religions and might be uncomfortable writing Merry Christmas on a cake. But the truth is that we don't put up signs in windows saying we won't serve particular customers. I can't even imagine going back to a time and place in this country where such a thing was the norm. Instead, we really want all people to be treated the same when they walk through the doors of a business that's open to the general public. And for many of us who live in large cities, it's really easy to think about, okay, someone was a jerk to me. I'm going to go down the block and find a service elsewhere. But that's not the reality for many people in the United States who live in small towns and rural areas and have much more limited options.
And Jerry, I'm just curious. I know you say you would just go to another business, but truly, if a business, for whatever reason, said to you, I don't like your religion, or my religion is against your religion, so therefore I'm not going to serve you, you wouldn't be put out by that?
I don't think so. I think the business are in business for the purpose of making a profit. If it becomes unprofitable for them to not serve a certain clientele, then they will start serving that clientele. Now, if we're going to make it unprofitable through lawsuits and make it impossible for them, I don't know. It doesn't make for a congenial transaction. Why do you want to make somebody do something that they don't want to do? I mean, it just seems insane.
Yeah. So why do you want to make somebody do something they don't want to do, Sarah?
Mm-hmm. Well, because our expectation, again, is that everyone is served equally on the same terms. We forced businesses to serve African Americans in the 1960s. There were plenty of businesses that refused to do so. And we as a society determined that was not only unconscionable, but unsustainable, that part of the role of government is guaranteeing equal rights for all. And businesses who are making the decision to open themselves up to the public should continue to abide by those non-discrimination laws.
Let's go to John in Green Bay next. Hello, John.
Oh, good morning. In many of the supper clubs and bars, there are signs, we reserve the right to refuse to serve anyone without religion or anything else or sobriety, just that sign. How does that square with what we're talking about?
Well, those signs are put up by individuals who are interested in conveying that message, but unfortunately fortunately, that is actually not what the law says. The law says you actually can't refuse to serve someone in a bar who's Christian. You can't refuse to serve someone in the bar who's a woman or who's Latino. That is not a right that business owners have. I think most of the time those signs are put up to share with people, look, if you're getting drunk and rowdy, you're causing a problem, yes, we reserve the right to kick you out. And nobody's challenging the ability to do so because we think that that's good business sense.
Mary in Pewaukee. Hi, Mary.
Hi, I oppose it. I oppose anything that is bigotry, prejudice, and pushing us backwards in time, back to the 60s when we did the same thing to black people having to sit in the back of the bus. Absolutely ridiculous. And any people that are trying to support this law in Mississippi or in North Carolina, are probably bigoted and prejudiced. So look at yourself in the mirror.